Well, I was invited here by the train of Mark asking Trevor, asking my brother, who asked me. Yeah, I think that's how it went. So as you said, we planned this in like 2 days, which is awesome. So I was invited here to share my testimony, my story. So that's what I'm going to do. This will be the beginning. 7 years old. This edge of it. You guys can't see it back there, but you guys can. 7 years old. I was very tired. I had a lot of bone pain. And that was pretty much it. And it was flu season. So that's why we thought I was tired. That's why we thought it was just the flu, you know. And I was wrestling at 7. So they figured the bone pain was just from wrestling. My mother, being the great mother that she is, realized that something was wrong, and she took me to our local doctor. He checked me out, and he said to my mother and my father, "I think your son has leukemia. I think your son has cancer of the blood." So he said, "You have to drive up to Stanford right away, tonight, Stanford." We live in San Luis Obispo County. How do you guys know where that is? I do. Anyways, from there to Stanford Hospital, it's up north. It's like a 3-hour drive. Lucille Packard Children's Hospital is a section of Stanford that I went to. So we drove there that night, and then they confirmed it with a simple blood test that, yes, your son has leukemia. So I was 7 years old. I was like, whatever, I'll just play with my toys and just listen to my parents and my doctors, and it'll be fine. I just figured everyone went through something like this. 7 years old, you don't know any better. So, for some reason, there's 2 ways you can go about having leukemia. You can have a bone marrow transplant or 2.5 years of chemotherapy. Why 2.5 years? I don't know. They like that number. So, we did the 2.5 years of chemotherapy. They put in a line, which is basically an IV. How many of you guys have had IVs? That's awesome. No, it's not. I hate IVs. Why am I whispering? I don't know. It's basically a long-term IV that it's like stitched in my first one was right here. It's like a tube that goes in your arm to your heart. It's wonderful. And long-term IV give you medicine, blood, liquids, milk, anything. Probably not milk, that'd probably kill me. Anyways. 2.5 years of chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is basically just poison. All it does is kill stuff, and it's great. You should ask for it for Christmas. It's wonderful. So everything dies, but I had 2.5 years of it, but not strong doses for 2.5 years. So I guess they figured for these small doses for 2.5 years, that's enough to kill all 76 billion blood cells in your body. I don't know. So they have to kill all of it because they don't know, they can't separate the good blood and the bad blood. They have to kill all of it.
So you don't lose your immune system and lose your hair particularly because it's not a strong dosage. So did that for 2.5 years. It was awesome. Then got the line taken out. They did it when I was awake. It was so weird. It felt like spaghetti coming out of my eye. I don't know if any of you guys have had spaghetti in your arm before, but that's what it felt like. I'm just a weird kid, maybe. Anyways. Okay, where was I? 2.5 years. Yes, and then, I don't know. They say that's a good enough number, so they'll just wean you off the treatment, just take you off of it. But I would still drive up to our local hospital that was 10 minutes away from my house every week and get a blood draw to make sure it wasn't in my blood anymore. Good idea. So, 7 years old, 2.5 years of chemotherapy, then 2.5 years of checkups and that stuff. Getting blood draws, driving up to Stanford so the doctors can look at me or whatever. So now I'm 12 years old, 7th grade. How many 7th grade boys are in the house? Hoot, hoot. Okay, that is a dangerous year. That is a year that I got leukemia the second time, so watch out. No, I'm totally kidding. You're not going to get leukemia. I mean, it might. Okay, everyone that just laughed, that is so messed up. I thought it was funny, I'm sorry. I'm mocking myself. Okay, so 12 years old, wake up in the middle of the night with this extreme back pain in my lower back, this back, and inside the bone, and no amount of massaging or whatever would ease it because it's inside the bone. I was pacing back and forth in my living room, bawling my eyes out, hyperventilating while my mother watched me and she couldn't do anything. That was an awful night. That was the night that my leukemia had come back the second time. So the next morning, after I'd finally woken up from exhaustion, we went to our local hospital, got the blood draw. They sent it up to Stanford Hospital. Results came back negative. The pain continued and it spread throughout my body and in my legs, etc. So we had to get a prescription for more harsh pain medication, but we kept getting the blood draws and they kept coming back negative. And so finally, we drove up to Stanford and we got something that's called a bone marrow aspirate. I know, right? It sounds wonderful. It's not. Right, so basically what a bone marrow aspirate does is you can check, the bone marrow, the stuff that makes your blood, so that'll determine if there's anything at all wrong with your blood at all, because something can be wrong with your blood and it won't show up on just a simple blood draw. I feel like I'm facing you guys too much. So, bone marrow aspirate, basically they give you happy pills, which is awesome. And then they hook you up to an IV, ouch, again, and they give you stuff called fentanyl and Versed. At least they did back in the day. They give you other stuff now. But basically all of it just knocks you out, puts you to sleep. So you're curled up on a bed with your crack hanging out, with your back, with your shirt up, and you're all washed off and stuff. They get a needle. It's like this big. Yeah, No, I'm kidding. Well, basically, just use your imagination. A needle for IV, right? So that pierces your skin, has to go inside your vein. A needle that pierces a bone. That's how big it had to be. Wonderful. I've done it without the fentanyl Versed, so I was awake when they did it. So you feel this enormous pressure building up in the back of your hip bone. And then you feel, and then you hear this pop. Great feeling. Should ask for that for Christmas, too. Then they take out the bone marrow. It looks just like blood. And then they check it like that. So, 12 years old, get a bone marrow. Second time in my life, my parents had to tell my mother, your son is sick with leukemia again. So this time, I'm 12 years old. I know a little bit more of the situation. I know this doesn't happen every day. I know that this could potentially take my life. I didn't really feel like doing 2.5 years of chemotherapy, so I was like, let's try a bone marrow transplant. Just like that. Let's try a bone marrow transplant. Anyways. But they said, hey, in order to have a donor, they prefer your siblings. They have to be an exact match. It's not just blood they're looking for. It's other things. It's 6 specific things in the blood. And, for example, there was a kid that wanted a bone marrow, and he had 10 siblings. They checked all 10, and none of them were a match. He told me this, so I was like, okay, I won't get my hopes up. So check my older brother, Zach, and my younger sister, Samantha. So they did, and the results came back. and all three of us were a match. We did the math. It's either 1 in 100,000 or 1 in a million chance that would happen. I didn't say we did the math well, but a lot of zeros, okay? So we decided to use my brother because he is bigger, he has more bone marrow to give than my younger sister. So basically all it is for my brother, it's a bone marrow aspirate on acid. So basically they knock him out, put him on his hip or whatever, stick the needle in there, pop, suck it all out, move it around, all up and down. I don't know, ask him sometime, he's back there somewhere. Suck it out. It's like, I don't know. How long did it take, Zach? I don't even know where he is. 3 hours. So regular bone marrow takes like 5 minutes. So this one took like 3 hours, and they take it out and put it in other spots, and basically he couldn't really walk for a week or something like that. Couldn't skateboard, it was terrible. And so basically it's just this huge bag, and it looks like blood, and so on the day of the transplant, wait, pause, back up. 7, 12, okay. They have to give you pre-medication in order for you to have a bone marrow transplant. They have to basically have you dead in order to bring you back to life. It's weird, I know. So they have to kill your immune system. They have to kill everything. So pre-medication, I would be driving up to Stanford every other day to get chemotherapy. Then I drive up there like once a week for 3 days, get more chemotherapy. Then finally, after all this medication and chemotherapy, they would admit you into the hospital because it wasn't safe for you to be outside anymore, outside of the hospital, because too many germs, and if you get sick, you'd probably die. So, in the hospital, you're in there for, I don't know, like 9 days before you actually get the transplant. So you get more chemotherapy, but then there's this fun little thing called full body radiation, and it doesn't turn you into the Hulk. I know, it stinks. Full body radiation is one of the chemotherapy, full body radiation, both absolutely terrible. I remember the first day of full body radiation, they were like, hey, would you like a wheelchair? And I was like, no, thank you, I can walk. And they're like, okay. So I walked down there, I walked to the basement, very, very depressing place, a basement in a hospital, by the way. So you're harnessed in this room, and there's this giant machine in front of you, and it's not her. You're in front of me, I'm sorry. And you're harnessed in, you're behind this plexiglass, and you're harnessed in, but you can't lean on the harness, that's in case you pass out. And you have handles that you can hold on to, but you're not allowed to lean on those either. Those are in case you're about to pass out. So your only protection is you have this piece of steel or iron or whatever, it's like 2-3 inches thick, shaped as your lungs, hanging above you, sitting right in front of your lungs, and that's the only thing that it protects. And then you have 10 minutes facing the machine, and then 10 minutes with your back to the machine. And after those 20 minutes, I could not walk. I needed a wheelchair. It's hilarious when you can't walk, I know. That wasn't a joke, by the way. Second time I had leukemia, full body radiation, chemotherapy. I was in a room. It's called double door isolation because there's a room outside of a room that goes into your room. So you go through one door. That door has to be closed. You're in the small room with a sink. You wash your hands. This door has to be closed before this door opens, and then that goes into my room. Then all the transplant was my brother's bone marrow going into my line. I have scars from all my lines, but it doesn't really matter what I had. So then, after that, you have to spend 100 days either in the hospital or 5 minutes away from the hospital for 100 days. In case you get a fever, because if you're not by a hospital, you'll probably burn up and die. So, basically your whole body's recovering. Terrible process, blah, blah, blah. I could tell you the details if you wanted me to later. They're not pretty. then once you finally get to go home, you're not allowed to go to church or school or any youth groups or big outings with a lot of people because your body's still not to that point yet. So you have to wait another 80 days till you can go to school and that stuff. And so did that. So now this is 8th grade, whatever. 3 years later, 3 years after my transplant, my doctors basically told me that I was cured because once you get in between the first and second time, that 2.5 years where I was on nothing, stats show that you're as close to 0% chance of it coming back as they can say. They can't say they're 100% sure because there's too many blood cells in the body. They can't check every one. So another year later, so this is almost 4 years after my transplant, when I was 12, I woke up in the middle of the night and I had that same back pain. And I knew right away. And I went into my parents' room and I told them, Mom, Dad, I think I have cancer again. So we go back up to Stanford, get another bone marrow. Results come back. 3rd time, doctors have told my parents, your son has leukemia again. So this time, we're like, let's use my sister. Why not? I mean, we're a match, whatever. She's a girl, it might work this time. Props to the girls. No? All right, there's no girls in this house, whatever. So, but I can't get the full body radiation because another bout would kill me. So just this time, it was a little bit different than the time before, but basically the same contrast. They have to kill you before they can make you alive, blah, blah, blah. So this is my junior year of high school, and I was 15, just turning 16. So that was sweet. And then recovery, whatever. Did hospital school so I can graduate with my class. Senior year of high school, graduate with my class. There's like 5 of them here. It's pretty sweet. We could fight you if you want. I'm just saying. Anyway. Okay, so 7 weeks and 5 days, almost 8 weeks ago. I'm going to sit down for a second. Almost 8 weeks ago, I became extremely anemic. You get really, really pale, and you're really tired all the time. You wake up after 10 hours, and you feel like you only slept for 2. It's crazy. So we go to that same local doctor. He says, yeah, we think you're anemic. Go to Twin Cities Hospital and get a blood draw to see if you are. Got the blood draw. Yes, you're anemic, but they didn't know why. So they said, go up to Stanford, get a bone marrow, and see why. This is almost 8 weeks ago. I go up to Stanford Hospital, get the bone marrow, the pop, whatever. Results come back. 4th time, the doctors have had to tell my parents, your son has leukemia again. For a 4th time. I know, I feel like I should be in Ripley's, believe it or not. It's crazy. A few days later, the doctors had asked us to come back up to go over what options that I had. I'm 18 now, so I can, it's up to me, and my parents can't change that. So, the oncologist comes in and basically for a 5-minute talk, he says, there's nothing that we can do for you. We can give you chemotherapy, we can do some treatment, but inevitably it will not work. No 3rd bone marrow, no more chemotherapy, nothing is going to work. There's no pill, there's no nothing. So I asked him, with nothing, how long do you give me? Well, first he says, you need to get a crying baby. I didn't believe that either. He says, it's your own individual blood. Everyone's blood is different. It reacts differently. There's no like hammer on the nail, like time. It's really hard. It can vary, but I did get this out of him. This was almost 2 months ago. He said, maybe 3 months, plus or minus. That was 2 months ago. And I'm still here. Me being here tonight is no accident. I'm dying of a disease. No, I'm not. I'm dying from a blessing that was given to me by God. People ask me a lot of questions, and later I'll bring that up to you guys if you guys have any questions. But one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, hey Clayton, are you scared? And usually I just say, no, I'm not scared. Because I don't really feel like talking right then or explaining myself. But inside, yes, I am. I am terrified. I am mortified. But not for myself. Not for cancer. I've been on this train for 12 years. This is my 4th time. I know what's going to happen. I know the feelings. I know all the needles. I know all the pains that's going to come with it. I know that. I'm not scared of that. I'm not scared of dying either, because I know where I'm going when I die. I know I'm going to heaven, because when I was little, I still am little, but when I was younger, don't mock me. When I was younger, I confessed with my mouth and believed in my heart that Jesus is Lord and that He is the only way into heaven. And I believed that. And I know that. And I was able to do that because God sent His only Son to earth to die on the cross for my sins and your sins. Because He loves us so much. That is why I was able. And I know that I'm going to heaven. So I'm not scared for where I'm going when I die. I'm scared for everyone else. I'm scared for all the people who don't know where they're going when they die. I'm scared for the people that might think they know where they're going when they die. I'm scared for all the people who are distracted by this world that is controlled by Satan, especially for you guys, because you're in America, and this is Satan's country. I'm scared for everyone that's distracted by friends, by iPods, by video games, by movies, by having a roof over your head, by feeling secure, or by feeling comfort, or by having $20 in your pocket. See, I'm dying. So it's not hard for me to live every day like it's going to be your last, because tonight I easily can go into a coma and never wake up from it. It's not hard for me to be thankful for life when I know that tomorrow I might not have it. And it's not hard for me to be thankful for my friends, because I know that I might not ever see them again very soon. Yes, I'm dying. But wait, here's the kicker. So are you guys. We all have a clock, have a timeline of when we're going to kick the bucket. And for me, I have the luxury of knowing about when I might go. See, I feel sorry for you guys because you guys don't know when you're going to die. I do. So everyone that is blinded by this world and is not living every day like it could be their last, which is very well could be. I feel sorry for you guys. So those are the people that I'm afraid of. The people that are blinded, the people who don't know where they're going when they die, and the people that think they know where they're going when they die, but they really don't. All right, I want all you guys to stand up, please. A cool little pulpit. We don't need that. Okay. No, wait. Lifesavers. Sorry, Mark. Okay, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to sit down on my go. I want you to sit down if there's something in your life that you know you have to change because life is just too short. Okay? No, I didn't say go yet. I'm going to repeat myself for anyone who didn't understand. I want you to sit down if you know there's something in your life that you must change before you die because life is just too short. All right, go. All right, everyone else can sit down too. It's funny, when your body dies, so do your lips. It's a pain in the butt. You guys all just see what happened? And come back down here. You guys all realize that there's something in your lives that needs to be changed. Right? You guys just proved that to everyone else. You showed that to me and to everyone in this room. But I'm going to say to you, who cares? I don't care. Whoop-de-doo. You stood up and you said something. You said something by sitting down. You didn't use your words, but you used your actions. I don't care. What I do care about, though, is if you actually make the effort to make the change. I don't care if you just stood up and said something. You could have not sat down. You could have not sat down and still felt something that you need to change, and yet you didn't sit down. What matters is if you actually do it. That's what matters. I know there's some of you in this room who don't know where you're going when you die. I know there's some of you in this room that are blinded by the world. I know all of you guys screw up. I know all you guys sin. And every single one of us in this room has to change something, including myself. So I don't care if you sat down. I care if you actually change your life. So, I was asked here to come share my story, and I did. It's a pretty long one. So I'm going to open it up now for questions if anyone has Any questions, just raise your hand and I will point my short finger at you. Questions? Yes, back here. What? What is chemotherapy? I said this earlier, but you might have grown deaf back then. Chemotherapy is basically a poison, and you can get it through IV line or a shot in your spine or even pill, I think. And it basically just kills your body so they can do stuff. It's really complicated. I'll come up to me afterwards. I don't see your face, but come up to me afterwards if you have detailed questions. Yeah.
What has God done in your life since you got saved?
It's a good question. I grew up. What has God done in your life since I've been saved? Well, I grew up in a Christian home, so I've been saved since I was very little. So I would say what He's done is blessed me with this cancer. And I would say that I would not change my life for the world because of how close my family is and by how many lives me being sick has touched. It's really funny, yeah. Yeah.
So how does the bone cancer
How does it happen? No one knows how you get leukemia. It's cancer of the blood, actually. But no one knows, which is one of the first questions I'm going to ask God when I die, if you can't ask questions. Yeah. Oh, the radiation. Basically the same thing as chemotherapy. It just killed my whole body, all the cells, everything that was alive. That's why your hair falls out. And that's why you get sores in your mouth and in your throat and you can't swallow. And that's why pretty much all your organs start to, they start to shut down and they have to give you medicine and then medicine for that medicine so your body doesn't die. Yeah.
Have you ever blamed God for?
Well, a couple things why I have not. First of all, I was born into having cancer. Not born into it, but I was 7, so I didn't know what it was. So I was like, whatever, I'll just play with my Legos. And then second, after seeing all the lives that have been changed, and that's just selfish of me to not want what I've been through. Only one person for all these other people. So no, I haven't.
What was your question?
Oh, have you ever blamed God for having cancer? Sorry.
When you say change in yourself, what kind of things do you see from your perspective that most people should be changing?
What do I see? What's my perspective now that, because of all this, that other people wouldn't see? Well, every breath that I take, it's hard for me to not thank God and to know where it's coming from, because, it's really hard psychologically to know that it might be some of your last breaths on earth. So basically, when I've been sick, each time that's when I've been closest to God, because I've been closest to. That's when I've lived every day like it could be my last, and I wouldn't be doing stuff like this if I hadn't been sick. And this is just a huge blessing for me. Like 30 minutes ago, I was actually surprised I didn't, I guess pass out is the best word, because I was just so tired. And so my blood sugar is just so low. But when I see people, I don't see a person. I see a child of God, and it's really awesome to have that view. And then when you hear someone complaining, oh, I had to go to the dentist today, it's really hard for me to have pity on them. Actually, it's really funny. I hope that answers your question. I kind of babbled. I'm really tired right now. You can come to me later, please.
What do you think it's going to feel like when you die?
Well, I'm going to go into a coma, so it's going to be a very peaceful death. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah.
So, like, when you go into a coma, basically you're going to be, like, sleeping and just
I have no idea. Has anybody been in a coma? I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know.
Like, I'd rather, to live as Christ and to die as gain. It would be great to go and be with the Lord, but also it would be good to keep on living to impact other people, which, if you had a choice, like, which one would it be, to keep on living the way you are, not be healed, and still, like, impact other people's lives, or would you rather go home to be with the Lord?
I think they're both selfish answers, but they're both also very righteous. Because, if God wants me home, Oh, my bad. Yeah, only I could hear it. She said, if you had a choice, would you pick heaven or stay here and do more evangelistic stuff on earth? Does that make sense? So, in my mind, if God wants me home and I want to stay here, that's selfish. And if, of course, I want to go to heaven, but everyone else wants me here, that's also selfish. But heaven's perfect, but here I can bring more people, maybe, to the perfect world. So it's kind of like a flip side. So I'm kind of leaving it in God's hands, because that's like one of the hardest questions ever. It's like, yes?
Has this whole experience, like, shaken your faith, or has it grown you to, like, cling to God?
Well, it hasn't grown me physically, but... Short joke. I love them. Anyways, yes, it definitely has. It's grown me and my family and my friends. Definitely. That's one of the reasons that I thank God that I've had it and I have it. It's because my family wouldn't be as close to each other and to God if this didn't happen. So yeah, I've definitely grown.
Returning back to your question about where you want to go, could you not, like, just write a book explaining your story? Because I don't think it's very possible that people get it 4 times in a row. And
I know, right?
so you could have, like, either, like, before you die, like, write a book, or have, like, one of your family members write it for you.
Did you guys all hear that? Writing a book about it. Actually, I think my dad is. But most of the times I speak, they videotape it. I think they're videotaping it right now. So yeah. Any questions? Jeez. Okay, right here.
Do you think your life would have been worse if you hadn't had cancer?
Do you think your life would have been worse if you didn't have cancer? Yes, because I wouldn't be as close to God. Simple as that.
Do you, like, travel around, like, speak, or no?
Do I travel around? Oh, the country? No, but here, yeah. This is the furthest I've been from home. But I've spoken like 8 times at different places at home. So, in the yellow.
Like, if you have radiotherapy and it kind of like takes the hair, why do you still have hair?
Oh, I haven't had chemotherapy in 2 years. I didn't get any treatment this time. I decided not to get any treatment. You had a question?
Yeah. Do you still make plans for the future, or are you just like writing it out?
Do I still make plans for the future? I live every day. It's really hard for me to make plans. But I do, like, not like months, but like a week is probably the furthest time I make plans.
What's something that you want to do before, besides talking and speaking and stuff like that?
What do I want to accomplish before I die?
Something that you want to accomplish. Anything that you
Like a bucket list?
Sure. Just that one thing.
This isn't that funny. No, not really. Because this gives me so much. Like answering your questions, it's so much. Thank you.
What would you tell somebody that knows about God, knows there is a God, but just doesn't feel like making those changes? Doesn't know if they should or not, or if it would really be beneficial.
But who isn't a Christian?
Per se,
Can you say that one more time?
Someone that's not a Christian but has a disadvantage of having knowledge about God, but not knowing if it's really beneficial to literally give your life your own life.
Good question. Okay, everyone hear that? I didn't either, it's okay. Okay, what would you say to someone who knows God and believes in God but who isn't a Christian? This is what I would say to you. Following Christ and giving your life to God fully and doing His will is going to be hard, and it's going to be painful at times. But I guarantee you, this is coming from a boy who's standing before you dying of leukemia for the 4th time. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. So you have the world where you think you're okay and you think you're secure. But the only secure place you can be is in God's hands. And it's going to be hard, it's going to be painful, but I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. It'll be worth it. Because what He wants is way better than anything we could want. That is what I have to say to a non-believer. Yes?
Clayton, the junior high parents are here too. So maybe if you guys can stay, please stay and ask Clayton questions. But if your parents are here and you need to leave,
do the parents want to come in?
Also. What's that?
Do the parents want to come in?
Yeah, if the parents want to come in.
Parents,
Clayton wants to come in.
you guys in the back. I know you guys can hear me because I heard him in the bathroom, and it was weird. It's like, God? Oh, no, Mark. That was really weird, actually. Sorry, what was your question? Can I describe heaven as I look forward to it? I hope there's going to be a lot of Ovaltine. But other than that, I haven't really thought about it. So maybe if I'm in heaven, I could send you like a little note. Might burn your eyes out, though. There's a question over here. What? Oh.
Okay, real quick. First question, how can we pray for you? Like, what are your biggest prayer requests right now? And secondly, you knowing that God can accomplish anything, what are your prayer requests, just hoping that what God would accomplish you tonight? Like, what do you just want to see God do?
Oh, tonight.
So, good question.
Okay, I'm going to answer the second one first because I forgot the first one. Okay, what I want God to do tonight, I've already been changed by meeting some of you guys. But for what I want is for every single one of you, this is like my wish, to leave this room also changed. I want there to be a voice in the back of your head nagging you that if you're not a Christian, is nagging you, hey, there's something missing in your life. Or when you leave, I want there to be a voice nagging you, telling you, hey, you need to change this, or you need to change that. Or if you're a parent in this room, I want you to leave, and I want a voice to be in the back of your head saying, hey, these aren't your kids, these are mine. So if it's my plan to give them leukemia, you have to be okay with it. And the first question, prayer request, that's what it was. Pray. Just for a calm heart and a calm mind, because I get attacked a lot. And and it really wears and tears on me, and it doesn't help the fact that I'm already very sick. So if you could pray for that. And Zach and I are driving back home tonight. If you could pray for safe travels too, that would be wonderful. Okay, this one first. I didn't hear you. Oh, most definitely. You should. That's the best gift for Christmas, right there. I'll probably. I want leukemia, Mom. Yes, it definitely was. It was a gift. Yeah, blessing. And why? Because of all the lives that have been changed through it. It's just phenomenal to me. And just, I've grown so much because of it. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything else. There was another question. Yeah. I heard the full body radiation, and what do you mean by that? What do I mean by full body radiation? I don't know how to explain it.
What do you mean by it killing you?
Oh. Basically just sucks the life from you. I don't know how it works, but it's a machine, and no one else is in there with you. You're that sign, you're the radiation sign, or whatever. And I don't know how to explain it. But it's using radiation to kill you, basically. I hope that answered your question.